Hello everyone. It's me, that Divination Witch. I hope you're doing well. Back with another episode of the Keys of Life podcast. If you haven't listened to any of the other episodes or watched them, this podcast is all about me introducing you guys to different practitioners, spiritual people from all around the world, and we get to see their points of view and what they like to do. And I'm dead excited because we've got lovely Hexie on here today. Hi. And I've known her for a couple of years through TikTok. We've been mutuals for a while on there, haven't we? And yeah, I'm excited to hear about her path. So yeah, I'll link my stuff below if you want to get a reading from me. I've got a Patreon, all of that jazz too. And I'll link Hexie's stuff as well if you want to check her out. Okay. So, hi, love. Hi.
Yes,
Uh,
Jenny.
right. Well, how are you?
I am good. I am good. We have rain. It's been a while. We had a really, really hot summer. So
Mm,
now we are in rainy season and I am loving every minute of it,
yeah. It's been
you
raining
know?
here, like this non-stop. Is that what it's like in Ireland?
Yeah, yeah. But it's nice. We needed it.
Yeah.
And the
Oh,
rain is cleansing, right? You
yeah.
know?
It's
So bring the
refreshing.
rain, bring the rain. Yeah, that's it.
So, yeah. So, how did you get started on your path? Or well, actually, let's start with what would you define yourself as if you had to label yourself? Like, what would you say your path is right now? And
I'm a
what do you think?
traditional Irish witch.
Yeah. Okay.
And I
Um,
always will be.
yeah. That's just who you are, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, that's
And
my path.
your path then, with that being the case, is this something you've done your entire life? Is it something you've always done?
It is something I've done my entire life, but on the traditional Irish witchcraft path, we don't really start getting trained up or really hands-on taught about it till we hit the ages of 12 to 13. So we're
Hmm.
not really included in spell works or anything like that. Now, before that, yeah, we may go out foraging and things like that, you know what I mean? But
Mm.
we're never in the energy of it. But we do watch. You can watch and you can learn. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And what a traditional Irish witch is it is passed down like a lot of closed practices. It is a
Mhm.
familial practice, so it is passed down through the generations. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how I got into my path.
Yeah. Well, so you were raised that way. Well, yeah,
I
you
was
were.
raised, and I like my daughter is raised to be a traditional Irish witch as well, and
Yeah.
hopefully so on and
It'll
so
go
forth.
on. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah,
So, I know I get a bit awkward sometimes. So, with that being the case, so would you say it is a closed practice then,
yes,
just to
yeah,
educate
yeah.
people? Yeah. So,
Traditional Irish witchcraft is a closed practice. It's more familial practice. So each family is
mhm,
going to have their ways of doing things. They're going to have their own spell books. The culture and the belief system is going to be the same across the board, but we never share because
yeah, it's
um,
personal.
back in back in the day, traditional Irish witchcraft would have, competed for territory,
Yeah.
right? So you don't share because you don't want another family to have their knowledge and your knowledge and therefore become more powerful than you
Yeah.
and make your family redundant. And then it was to protect it from outside influence as well, which we get to see a lot of now in the
Mhm.
modern age with the internet, right?
Oh
There
yeah.
is a lot of interference in traditional paths, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
So
definitely.
a lot of it is to just protect and help it survive, really, you know.
Yeah. No, definitely. And I think that's interesting to share. And thank you for sharing because for us outsiders, because I'm not from a closed practice or a family lineage of anything, you know, it's it's like educational because when we think of closed practices, we think of stuff like Native American traditions
Mm.
or Santeria, things like this, which yes, they are. But
Yeah. You
it's
find
more than that.
a lot of indigenous practices will be closed off, and that is because of outside interference
Yeah,
coming in, taking what they like about it, but trying to change it and adapt it for themselves. And therefore, the indigenous culture loses their way and
yeah,
their belief system. So they kind of have to close it off for
yeah,
its own survival, you
yeah,
know?
yeah. So would you
Yeah.
say, you know, with that being the case, because I know, especially in the Western world, like, you know, I'm just going to say it, white people, paganism, you know, a lot of people getting into things will get into like, well, Wicca, which is its own thing, of
Mm.
course, but, you know, like Celtic paganism, would you say like this is a common theme I'm learning that people outside just slap Celtic on everything? And it's not, is it? It's,
No, what I see a lot happen is Native American practices being taken and Celtic getting put on the packaging. And it's nothing to do with Celtic magic whatsoever. It is literally Indigenous American magic or belief system, you know. And it's
mm,
damaging to all round. It's damaging to the countries under the Celtic umbrella. It's damaging to the Native American peoples. It's, you know, I see these people as more modern. An
yeah,
awful lot of people are just simply ignorant and they don't know that they're stepping foot into a closed practice or touching something that is belong to a closed practice. It's just trending and they're trying it and they're just uneducated and don't know about it. And, you know, they just need to be educated. But a lot of people as well, I think just um there's so many different types. Some people just want to make money and they really don't care whose toes they're stepping on to do it. And then there are some people that have the belief that we're all the one peoples, so we should
mm,
just share it all in any way. And they don't understand the struggle people have to hold on to their specific culture.
yeah,
So, you know, it is these kinds of things. I think that's what I see in any way. Some people
mhm,
care, some people don't, and some people are basically just ignorant, you
yeah,
know?
yeah. No, no, I see that too. And for me, as someone who does a lot of divination, I mean, and that divination, which I do like deity confirmation readings, and I'm very privileged and fortunate that I get to speak with spirits from cultures I normally wouldn't set foot in, you know, because I do a bit like one of the things you've said. I do believe that, yes, we are all connected, but I had a deity come through who's technically from a close practice for someone, and I asked her, uh, it it was technically Oshun, and I won't get into that. That's me saying that. But Oshun explained that she will talk with anyone, and she will help anyone regardless of color of skin, background, etc. But closed practices are closed practices for a reason because there's certain things within that that the spirits also like and are connected with, and so you can't replicate that and to do so is offensive. From my experience as an outsider speaking with spirits linked to closed practices, that's very important to respect said closed practice, whatever they're linked with, because there's certain things that they like that go hand in hand with working with that spirit, for example, and you just can't replicate it. If you're not part of it, you're not part of it. At the end of the day, that's that. But what I was going to ask you, Hexie, is some of my followers know this, but I don't think you do, is that recently, over the past couple of months, out of everyone who's reached out to me, Morrigan has stepped into my practice and she has been helping me. But I kind of, obviously, she is the patron goddess of Ireland. She's the heart and soul of Ireland to me, to my understanding. I'm not trying to replicate any sort of Irish or
Listen,
Celtic practice with
no,
her.
the Irish gods are open. They're not closed.
Yeah.
They are
That's
open
what
to
I wanted to,
everyone.
what
Yeah,
would your, because she came to me, and the thing
yeah.
is, I mean, I'm a Hecate witch and she's mine. I'm not putting anyone above anyone else because I know the gods are funny like that, but she's
Yeah.
my mother. That's how I see her. She's my
Yeah.
mother.
She's your patroness, yeah.
hmm But Hecate herself, and I talk about this on the channel, she is more than just goddess of witches. She's found in so many cultures and there's so many links and crossovers with loads of different deities, and
Mm.
Morrigan's one of them. And there is a theory that could they
Mm.
be the same? You know?
Yes, I have heard these theories and I understand the theories that people are talking about and that's fine, but at the same time that theory can be quite damaging again when we're going into like, closed or indigenous practices. It can be quite damaging to cultures that are trying to keep their belief system,
Yeah.
traditions and culture alive to um, kind of change up their gods. They are, like
No,
the Irish people are going to want to hold on to the Morrigan.
of
Do you get what
course.
I'm saying? And
Yeah.
not share her with Hecate or anyone else. They're going to see her as their individual god. But I have talked to people and I do understand where people's coming from. And if you want that to be your personal belief, that's absolutely fine. But it can be quite damaging to a people's as well to
Yeah.
have that belief and quite insulting to them to change their gods up on them, you
Yeah.
know?
No, that's why I wanted your
Yeah.
opinion. I think it's very important for any deity, even Hecate, even though there's no close practice around her anymore, but any deity to not remove them from their culture because
Yeah, that's
that's
it.
that for a reason. It
Yeah,
is a reason. It shapes who they are as a being.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
So when it comes to the Irish gods and well, I suppose other gods as well, maybe that are linked with Irish paganism. You said they're open. So if someone, say like me, or I'm just using me as an example, wanted to approach, I don't know, Morrigan or Luch, I don't know if I pronounced that right, sorry, or whoever,
No.
Lou, uh, like how would you go about that without appropriating or being disrespectful? Like what would your advice be?
Educate yourself on who they are, what they're the gods of, and things like that. And you can approach them. They're very, I always talk about the honor system. And once you conduct yourself within that honor system, they're very happy and willing to work with you, even if you don't have a dot of Irish in you,
Mm,
because don't forget fostering was huge on the Irish path back in the day as well. Um, so yeah, they're absolutely fine. Where the problem arises is when you take Lou and decide that to you,
mhm.
Lou is the god of childbirth, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's not, okay? You decide Lou is the god of childbirth, and that's what you're going to do. And that's where the problem arises because you are changing who he is, and it's not going to work out for you. And that's when Irish people, that's the only thing they have a problem with is when you start changing the
Yeah,
core of the gods and
of
putting
course.
misinformation out there. But if you're working with the Morrigan, you know what the Morrigan stands for, go for it, enjoy it. That is your personal relationship with your deity. Do you
Oh
know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And nobody gets to tell you if it's okay or not okay. Once you're approaching it with respect to the culture it's from and listening to the people of that culture, all they'll want to do really is educate you on it. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And
That's
and
it.
that's yeah, that's good
Yeah.
advice. Thanks. And that's what my channel hopefully is about, spreading
Yeah.
good advice like that because
I've had a lot of people reach out, and they have been told that the Irish gods are closed. And I'm like, nobody, the Irish gods are not closed because there is such a dysphoria, if I'm pronouncing it right, there's such a huge uh, group of Irish people outside of Ireland.
yeah,
You could
oh
never close it off to them. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? They're all over the world. Diaspora. Got to use
I mean
diaspora.
okay.
Welcome to my brain.
Okay.
Welcome to my brain. Yeah.
No, I think that how I differentiate, I mean, this is just me, with close practices and in deities, spirits linked with them. Because I know certain, for example, Slavic peoples will be in the same boat
Mm,
as you from Ireland if you've, born and raised in, say,
mm,
Poland or whoever or wherever, and you've got your certain familial, can't even say the right words, but ancestral practice, folk practice, something like that never died out. But something like Hellenismos or, the Roman gods or even Aesaru, the Norse deities and what, like some of it died out and
yeah.
we're reconstructing things and it's all
Yes, a
personal.
lot is reconstruction. And
Yeah,
that's with the Slavic path, they take reconnecting to the magic and the witchcraft of that path very, very seriously. They've got
yeah,
real
definitely.
serious about it because they are sick of people coming in. And what we just talked about, wasting their time. So before you even approach um, to learn about your roots,
Yeah,
you need to be able to speak the language. And this is what they're looking for. How serious are you about reconnecting? Because don't
yeah,
waste our time, you
yeah,
know. The Irish, not so serious. The Irish are, you love Ireland, Ireland loves you. Just do it right, do it correct. We're all
yeah,
good. Keep it
cool.
alive, you know.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay, I'll change the subject in a way.
Right.
So, what is obviously within reason as to what you can share? What's your
Mm,
favorite thing to do? So, like for me, I don't just mean going for a swim or, or whatever. I mean, like, I am that divination witch, and that is my jam. I love doing that. And also recently doing a lot of transmutation because I've been getting a lot of
mm,
evil eye and shit. And so I'm like, oh, I'm actually really good at this. uh,
right.
so do you have like a favorite
A
practice that,
favorite
umbrella
practice.
term?
Okay, so I have the name CelticHex because I am gifted in that area, you
Mhm.
know. But, hexes can be healing, right? I'm not this big, horrible creature running around hexing everybody. That's where my talents lie. You know yourself, we do the same form of divination.
Mhm.
We're both really good at it. You know what I mean? I think, yeah, have my set right here
I
beside
think,
me.
yeah, it's been a little, I had one off you ages ago, but I'll have to get another
Yeah.
one. And yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting.
But I guess what I like to do with my personality is I quite like working with children. Um, I quite like anything that helps children. Don't tell anyone, it's a secret. I get on great with kids. I, I was a preschool teacher, and I understand them. I get on great with them. I love them, and I love to help them. And that's where an awful lot of my bounty work would actually be bringing justice to children. If you catch my drift,
Yeah, yeah, I
right?
do.
So
Mhm.
that's yeah. So we it takes all sorts of witches out there to make it work, right? You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But I do. I guess working with kids, it doesn't matter what the spell book may be. I love helping children, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm the same in as in helping as well, like the voiceless sort of thing. Like anyone touches kids, animals, or anyone helpless,
Mm.
like me and my friend, I'm sure she wouldn't mind me saying she bound this spirit that was an abuser, let's just say that, and put it in a box and shoved it up a hill in Wales. So anything like that, I'm all for.
That's it, yeah, you know. I think people that get to know me understand me a lot better, because I do talk and teach a lot about the baneful side of the craft, but
Mhm.
inherently Irish witchcraft is quite baneful. And that's just the way it is, whether people like that or not. I know a lot of people are very toxic positivity, but at the end of the day, that's not witchcraft. Witchcraft encompasses absolutely everything, okay? So, on the Irish path, we are all about balance and duality. So we walk right down the middle of that and we can pop that way, or we can pop that way whenever is needed. So the Irish path always was always, we have our very famous healers, we have our
Mhm.
very famous protectors, and we also have our very famous FAFOs, But transmutation was a huge part of the Irish path, and is a
Mhm.
huge part of the Irish path. And
Yeah,
when people get up and talk about transmutation, um, I'm like, yeah, literally we do that while we're crawling. That's one thing we are taught is
yeah.
transmutation. So we are well raised up knowing how to do that.
Mhm. That's cool. I don't know if Morrigan has like influenced me with that without realizing with that.
The Morrigan absolutely would, because people,
Mhm.
a lot of people do forget that the Morrigan was in and of herself a witch,
Oh yeah, yeah.
you know?
She's badass and amazing at
Yeah.
like with the utmost respect. Uh
Oh, she will end you, yeah,
oh yeah. I've
Yeah,
seen her wrath. Yeah. Oh, and I've
yeah,
also seen it where she let's just say this is ages ago. I had something not so nice sent to me from a witch who does work with Morrigan, and Morrigan stepped aside literally and said, "Have at it then. If it's
yeah.
not,
I
if
think you
it's a
find with
condom on it,
deities is that kind of thing is so beneath them. Do you know what I
mm,
mean? They're just like,
very
they're
much. They're
not
not
bothered with witches fighting with each other and throwing at each other. They're like
pathetic to them,
kids.
definitely.
Yeah, you know.
There's this, well, no matter who you are, where you're from, what deities you may or may not worship, at the end of the day, like, yeah, there's a higher meaning to life, whatever you believe, really. And just because so and so's cheesed you off, yeah.
A lot of people tend to wave them around like attack dogs, and it is so
Definitely.
disrespectful to them. Um, and that they really are only on the start of their journey, and they really do have a long way to go with it,
Hmm.
right? Because you should never wave your deity around like an attack dog. It's super rude to them,
Hmm.
you know.
It's well, that's TikTok. That's why that's why I left stuff like that. I try not to get too much into that, but there's just drama after drama on there, isn't there?
Always, yes.
Hmm. Oh,
Dumpster fires daily. Yes.
so I'm going to change the subject again, sort of, because you showed your lots there. That
Yes.
sounded rude, but I know just for people listening and watching. Do you want to talk about like what is it to you? Is it linked with, well, is it linked with the folk practice? Obviously, I know about casting lots, but
Yeah, well,
it's separate.
yeah, lots would go way back. They would really be a traditional form of divination, but not just on the Irish path. I believe
Yeah,
worldwide, people have used lots a long time.
yeah.
To me, it's just the form of divination that I resonate with the most.
Yeah.
I was brought up more to do like fire scrying would have been my grand's. That would have
Hmm.
been her form. So that's what she tried to teach to us, and I enjoy it. I like it, but
Hmm.
lots is what I
What you
enjoy.
drawn to?
That's what I'm drawn to. In fact, I can pick up cards. I can do it. I can do all forms of divination, and anything can literally be used in divination, right?
Oh yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? But yeah, lots is just works really, really well for me, and I get really super personal, in detail messages from it.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah. Cool. I just didn't know if it was linked with anything else for you. That was all. I'm sure the casted lots in the Bible even. Uh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yes, lots are actually even though witchcraft in and of itself is, frowned upon and not accepted, lots thrown is accepted in religion.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
Hmm.
we'll leave that one there. Just leave that one there. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I do have another kind of question, sort of linked with religion and deities, but
Yeah,
this might like you might not want to answer. I don't know, but this is
right.
just my curiosity.
Hmm.
Or from you, a traditional Irish folk practitioner who has all this amazing ancestry behind her, what do you feel about like Saint Brigid and Brigid, like the difference and like if you get what I
The
mean?
goddess Bridget being turned into a saint.
Yeah, like
Like, you know,
how did that change things?
I, no, I understand it. Listen, Bridget is actually would be the uh, patroness of Ireland. She would be the forerunner Irish goddess. She was known as Ireland's sweetheart, and basically what that was is, the Irish wouldn't give her up. They loved her. They adored Bridget. So to get them to the church, they had to adopt her and
Yeah,
make her
no
Saint
choice.
Bridget. Um, I don't think anything of it. I understand the history of it. I understand the dynamics behind it. But there's a lot of trying to, like, she was never lost in her original form as goddess Bridget. Like, she
Yeah,
still survived as the goddess Bridget. So they didn't damage her that way. She has survived and she has thrived. But you will find religions tend to change a lot no matter where in the world they are.
oh
Like,
yeah.
a perfect example of, I think what you're trying to say is the Dagda, which would be Bridget's dad, okay, the
Hmm.
god, the Dagda. He was the most stunningly beautiful man, okay? He was, there's a saying, I don't know if you want me to say it, but it was
Please do.
every man wants to be him and every woman wants to be under him, right? That's what they say about the Dagda. But it was the church when they were writing about the Dagda, like, he can't be so attractive that he, takes away
Yeah,
from our God. So
seductive.
they made him into this big Santa Claus oaf looking person. He was not. He was a massive muscle. He would have had to be, okay, to be the Dagda, okay, the
Yeah,
chieftain of Ireland. So he was absolutely gorgeous, and it was religion that changed his view. And people to this day, even Irish people, would see Dagda in their mind as this big, lumbersome Santa Claus looking man when he
yeah,
really wasn't. So, that things like that were done. And they
yeah.
do it to all cultures
Oh,
all around
definitely.
the world, you
Yeah.
know.
Oh, well, yeah, it's a big thing in history. I just wondered from your point of view, because, yeah, well, you're Irish. If it was, I don't know if it changed anything, I guess. Uh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else I can ask you. Is anything, well, let's ask you. If I was a brand newbie, what would you recommend to start with?
To start with, well, first of all, I would say take your time. So many new witches on the path want to rush to gain the knowledge and rush to gain power, and they're racing all over the place. Just stop, take a breath, and realize that, witchcraft is going to be a lifelong path and you will never know it all. Nobody is ever going to know it all. It is an ancient practice. It would take you lifetimes to learn it. It is not about gaining all the knowledge out there. It is about enjoying the path that you're walking and learning what you enjoy along the way. And then I would say be very, very careful who you learn from. I have met people that have been on the witchcraft path between 6 and 10 years. I've got talking to them, and they have had to go and unlearn everything that they thought they knew because they were wrong. Whoever taught them didn't know what they were teaching them. So everything that they learned was wrong. And these people literally not only had to start their path again, but they
Mm.
had to unlearn things that they thought were factual, which is really hard. So cross-reference absolutely everything. You're listening to me talking here now. I talked about the Dagda. Don't ever just take my word for it. You go off and research it yourself and find out for yourself. And that's the only way you're going to be sure that the knowledge you are gaining is correct. And don't, I have so much, I could go on, but don't skip the basics. So many people are like, that's beginner.
Mm.
You need to be an excellent beginner witch if you
Mhm.
ever want to be a powerful and great witch.
Mhm.
The longest place you should be learning is on that first step, on the beginner part of it, because that is your
Yeah.
foundation. You want that to be super strong.
Yeah.
So, learn
Yeah.
everything and enjoy it, you
Yeah.
know?
Like, you're right. I think that is a common theme. People want to skip over the first lesson because they feel, to know if
Mm,
they feel silly or, or what it is. There's it's trying to like get away from that stigma in a way. Like, look, everyone starts somewhere, and I get like a ton of people who come to me. I feel like Ghostbusters sometimes because there's an entity there or there's a ghost there or whatever that they don't like. Like, have you kept up with your spiritual hygiene? Have you been cleansing? No. Don't
yeah.
get complacent. That's what my ass before. It probably whooped yours too. I don't know. But
Listen, nobody's untouchable, no matter how talented you are and no matter how
mhm,
much experience that you have. Nobody's untouchable, and that's what they refer to as the ego. Okay. When
mhm,
you think you are oh so knowledgeable, oh so powerful, and nothing can touch you, that's when you're going to get out alive,
mhm,
right? You
definitely.
know?
And sadly, you're always going to get people like that. We can't
Yeah.
eliminate it. But for anyone who's genuinely wanting to learn and who happens to listen to this, there's nothing wrong with being a newbie. There's nothing wrong with,
Everyone
you
has to
know,
start somewhere. I've
exactly.
had people come to me in their 60s
Hmm.
and be like, am I too old? And I'm like, no,
No.
absolutely not. Let's go, enjoy. You can
Yeah,
come to it at any age. There's no rules. This is
exactly.
what we mean by in witchcraft, there's no rules. You can walk into it at 14, you can walk into it at 30, you can walk into it at 90. It's always
Hmm.
going to be there waiting for you, you
Yeah.
know?
And also, everyone will have their own strengths and weaknesses. And I'm not talking about got to be born a witch sort of thing. I know it's different, from like, your practice's point of view. It's a bit different, but that whole like, I'm Sabrina and I woke up like at 16 and I could
Yeah,
zap thing.
yeah.
Like, your life experience also shapes it, doesn't it? Like who you are.
100%. And listen, just because people are born into a witchcraft family does not make them more gifted or more powerful than someone else that has just decided at 21 years of age to turn around and be a witch. They are not more talented or gifted than you. They just maybe had a head start on learning. That's what I say. So
Yeah.
I would have had a head start on learning. I would have been learning a few years longer than you. But
Yeah.
I will have my talents where they lie, and you will have your talents where they lie. Because every single one of us has different energy. None of us are the same, right? And that's the beautiful thing about it. So Sarah is doing her lots reading. I'm doing my lots reading. We're two brilliant lots readers, but we're completely different energies. Do
Mm-hmm.
you get me? And
Mm-hmm.
that's yeah. So there's no one's above anyone. No one's there is no like system or levels in witchcraft like that. And that's why you find a lot of people remain solitary because they're like, no,
Yeah.
no. Do you know what I mean?
I know I
So
do.
yeah.
Although I'm trying to help people with this and have a little community, but yeah, I'm like
Oh,
that.
listen, you can have a commute. You can be solitary and have friendships with other witches.
Mm,
Some witches like covens, some witches don't. It's all
yeah,
fine. It's all good, right?
yeah.
Whatever
I
you
just
like.
Oh. Sorry. Well, it's just with that, with that, it is the ego, as in we all need an ego to live, but
Yes,
it gets carried away, and there is a
yes.
lot of especially on the left-hand path, which I don't know. I mean, technically you dabble in the left-hand path, but I'm talking demonology, I'm talking, that kind of shenanigans.
Well,
uh
what happens there is ego. Too much ego is a bad thing, but you
yeah.
do also need your ego, okay? You need to feel you are invincible. You need to feel you are powerful. You need to believe in that, or what's your magic,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? But I think some people get carried away with it. They go
Hmm.
way overboard, But I think a lot of that is blustering. I think people that bluster a lot are trying to convince other people that that's what they are because they're not feeling it in and of themselves. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean?
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think that's what we see a lot of bluster,
yeah. And it's sad,
you
really,
know?
once you can see through that, because well,
Yeah,
people like that normally have a lot going on themselves, sad people inside. Yeah.
it
But
is.
don't get
It is sad.
sucked in. Yeah, definitely sad. I'm just thinking of these, don't know, I'm careful what I say, but there's a lot
Mm.
of cult-like mentalities, is all I'll say, in certain.
There's sheeple. There's a lot of sheeple out there, people that look for people that exude this bravado and feed into it and then follow them. But that's fine because guess what? Real witches sit there watching this at the end of the day and don't care because absolutely none of these people are ever going to be a threat to a real witch because
No.
it's the blind following the blind, right?
Yeah.
What are they learning? Nothing. Do you get me? So if you watch witches that are, you're fairly sure are witches and they're around, well, they just sit there going, meh, don't care.
Hmm. And there's something
Oh,
you've said, and it sticks with me. And I'm like, that's good advice. That real recognizes real. You said,
real recognizes real 100%. All you have to do is look at each other and you know that they know, that they
hey.
see how things go. Yeah, it's exactly like what we're talking about there, like the bravado, you know, and absolutely no one um that understands witchcraft and they have 10 years under their belt is going to get an attitude with a witch that has 35 years under their belt because they will literally
Yeah.
they have 25 more years of learning on you and common sense tells you that magically them 25 years are going to kick your ass and that's just factual, that's not bravado, that's factual.
Mm.
So yeah, there's a lot of having to put up with these types of people and go, no, trying to wade through. I'm trying to make my block button work for me on TikTok because it's crazy over there. So
Yeah,
I'm trying to just clear up my feed as best I can.
it's
Um,
definitely
you
crazy.
know, because there's
Yeah.
a lot of people that are there, in the witchcraft world, but aren't witches. They're there because it trended. I
Hmm.
was a witch before there ever was an internet.
Oh, yeah.
Before there was internet, I was a witch. And, these people, I have to put up with these people that come in because it's a trendy thing and
Yeah.
come in with attitude. And it's like, really,
Yeah.
really? I have to listen to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get you. I mean, this in a way, sometimes there's nothing wrong with that if they're willing to learn. And even, to be honest, I guess I was a trend witch when I was 14. So I started when I was 14 with Wicca, and all there was Wicca at the
Yeah, there's
time.
nothing wrong with
And
Wicca.
that's, yeah,
Nothing wrong with Wicca. It has
it's got
what
its
gives
place. If you,
what gives Wicca a bad name is the people that practice Wicca and
yeah,
run
yeah.
around to other witches with their threefold law,
Hmm.
and judging people, and that's what annoys other witches. They're like, we're not Wiccan, your rules don't apply to us, go away. That's the problem with Wicca. It's not
Yeah.
Wicca in and of itself, it's certain people that. practice it, you know.
Yeah.
But Wicca, I think, brings a lot of people in the door to witchcraft. Like a
Oh, it
stepping
does.
stone.
It
Yeah,
do. Yeah. I mean, especially in the 90s and that time. Well, there was internet, but not like this. It had to be
yeah.
AOL. I just don't know if you remember that AOL dial-up, getting a free trial.
Yes.
And my mum would be like, "Get off the phone." Oh no, get off the internet. I want to be
To
on the
make a
phone.
phone call. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I remember the first book I got was it was pink. It said something teenage witch or something. Yeah.
Oh,
Uh
that's the thing. It was really hard to get books or anything like that here. And the first book I got, still seeing it in the shop, and it was a Wiccan Wheel of the Year book, or it was Wicca for Dummies. I still I can't
oh
look,
yeah.
and I bought it, and I loved it, and I was delighted with it, and I still have it there, and I still love it because for the first time in Ireland, there
You
was a
got it.
witchcraft book, and it's still hard to get books in Ireland on
Yeah.
witchcraft. Still a very religious country, you
Yeah.
know. But the
I can
internet makes
imagine.
them be able to order books from all over the world. So,
Yeah. Which is good. And
mm,
yeah, like just to quickly finish my point before it goes out my head was that it's all right to start on a trend as long as you're respectful basically. And yeah, if you like I left it for a while and then I came back and
mm.
it's personal to you. It's when you try and just be an edgelord straight away like
That's it. That's it.
yeah.
You know, the biggest rule about witchcraft is literally there are no rules. So you know, morals and ethics can be and always will be such a huge topic in the witchcraft world. But the number one rule you should live by yourself is your morals and ethics are your own and they do not apply to anyone else. And if you try to shove your morals and ethics down somebody else's throat, you are a problem and you will
Hmm.
be perceived as a problem,
Yeah,
you
and
know?
it's no better than any other. Well, religion's fine. The reason for me with religion is I don't subscribe to any religion because of that.
Mhm.
It could be anything, Wicca, Christianity, whatever.
Yeah.
No, I get you. The train of thought has gone out my head. I am like absolute.
Yes.
I get
I
like this
understand
sometimes. I
it,
go,
I'm the exact
"What's that
same.
train of thought? It's left the station." But yeah, just stop telling us what to do, man. All right,
Mhm.
and that's exactly that.
And it's okay to have your belief system. It's okay not to agree with something another path may do or another witch may
Mhm.
do.
Yeah.
But you may keep it to yourself and not try to control someone else's path because it
Mhm.
won't go down well. It's like a huge one and it always trends. And you know this yourself. Doesn't matter where you are when you're talking about witchcraft, but there's always going to be that is it okay to throw at people's children or our children off limits? And my
Mhm.
answer is always there is no point even having this conversation because if it could become witchcraft rule number one, do not throw at people's children. People are going to be like, okay, we
Mhm.
won't do that. And behind closed doors, they're going to throw people's children.
Yeah.
And that's you there, you know, so you have to understand that. I know people who literally will throw at people's children.
Mhm.
Personally, I don't, but that's my morals and ethics, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Do you get me? Because I
Yeah.
love
You've
kids.
got to. Well, yeah,
But other
exactly. You've got to
people,
be a.
yeah, the first thing they're going for is whoever you love. So you
Oh,
really
they
got to be
do. I've
careful.
had that happen to
Yes.
me.
I've
Yeah,
had my kids thrown at, yeah, you know.
yeah. Well, my fur babies because I don't have kids,
Yes.
but yeah, they'll do that. A
And
million
that's why
percent.
you need, if you know your basics, if you've learned your basics well,
You'll be
you can
fine.
protect absolutely everything. Doesn't matter what
Hmm.
they're throwing at. Doesn't matter who's throwing. When you know your stuff, you can
Hmm.
protect against it all, right?
Yeah.
So don't skip on the
Amen.
basics.
Exactly. Yeah. No, no, that's right. You've got to think as well, though, even in outside of witchcraft, even in real life, not that this isn't real, but look, you just don't know who the hell's about, especially this day and age. If you are online in groups, or if you're going to
Yes.
start sharing like me and Hex do, you got to be careful what the hell you're sharing online. People, there are
There
absolute
are
nut jobs.
some
Wow.
very unwell people out there that, need help. They're unmedicated. And yes, we've run into a few of them, and it can be quite uncomfortable and quite a dangerous situation. So yeah, be very careful, and
Mhm.
um, don't give out your real world information. The exact same way you have a witch's name to traverse through the liminal,
Yeah.
so they don't have that tie to you. Be very careful with other witches as well with the information you give out, because I have had witch friends that have had people turn up at the door. They've had to get cease and desist. Um, I've had people that have had stalkers, online stalkers. Like there's a lot of people out there that are unwell, and you've got to be really careful, you
Mhm.
know.
Definitely. There was something well, I'm conscious of the time. It popped in my head, total change of topic, but I'll quickly ask you because I've got you here. And okay,
Okay.
do you ever work with the fae? I know it might be a different thing. I'm just interested to know about. Is there anything you want to share
Do
about the fae?
I
Oh, you
work with
can.
the AC?
Yeah,
Do
that's
I?
what you call them.
Do
Yeah.
I? Okay, so the AC, the fair folk. Some Irish witches will work with them. Some of them will run in fear. But there's a little saying that Irish witches get their power and their shape-shifting abilities from the Aeshe. And that an Irish witch's, a traditional Irish witch's magic is so similar to an Aeshe's that you need to get a fairy doctor in to go, no, it's an Irish witch, or no, it's the fair folk. Okay, that's how similar and powerful the magic is considered. So, do they work with the AC? You can. Do I? I do absolutely
Yeah.
work with them. I really didn't have a choice in that matter. But the thing about when you work with the AC, it is extraordinarily private.
Yeah.
That with my daughter, I couldn't even tell her about how I work with the AC, what I learned from the AC, my interactions with the AC. She would have to go off and make her own relationship with the AC,
Yeah. Yeah.
and have her own private relationship with them. But Irish witches and the AC tend to go hand in hand together.
Yeah. Cool.
Or both, consider us both mischievous little creatures.
I was going to say little tinkers. That's what they say where I'm from. You little sods. Anyways,
That's
yeah.
it. Yeah,
Oh, well, that was just a quick one to finish off, but thanks so much.
no problem.
I'll wrap it up. Thanks so much for
I
being
really,
here.
I really enjoyed it, and thank you for having me.
Oh, of course. Anytime. You're welcome here
Okay.
anytime. But yeah, thanks everyone for listening as well. Go check out Hex's stuff. And if you made it this far, you may as well hit subscribe. And until
Right, hit
next
the
time,
subscribe button.
yeah, hear it. All right, go. And yeah, this is my cheesy outro. Until next time, stay safe, stay witchy. Bye.